Hi, everyone. This is Jim Fogarty. I'm a retired psychologist that recently joined the church. Father's asked me to talk a little bit about everything that's going on right now. And we've got a lot of stuff coming at us. Hopefully it won't hit us hard here, but looks like it's hitting hard everywhere else. And one of the things that I think is important is that getting to that point where, that peace that passes all understanding, getting to that Catholic, I call it Catholic calmness instead. And one of the most powerful things, of course, is prayer. And if you're already a prayer warrior, that's fantastic. If you're like me, I got to be reminded, by somebody to keep praying. So what I did is I just set my timer on my phone. Every hour it goes off, I start doing some prayers because we need that. Now, you can do any kind of prayer that you want. What I do is I always pray when I'm in situations like this about God is in charge. Jesus is there. And whatever I'm going through, if Jesus is in charge of it, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it as well. Some of you heard the story about my wife dying not too long ago. I won't repeat too much, but I just want to say she had that calmness that no matter what came to her, she, just believed that Jesus was in charge. And it's a good comforting feeling to have with that. It really helped her as she progressed toward death. She died this last January. And for me, that's been really, really helpful, is that peacefulness. The other thing that's helpful, and I bet you many are probably already doing this, if not started, is to get on that phone. Get on that phone and start calling folks. Call the folks that you haven't heard from in years. Especially call the folks who are in the hot spots. If you know anybody, like I've got a friend out in L.A., I was going to call him at some point. I'm sorry, down in Florida. And I'm going to call that friend at some point and just to see how they're doing down there. But call, and you got to stay really, really connected with folks. So it's helpful to do that too. If you get that anxiety, pray to Jesus that anxiety goes away. And the best way to make that go away is to start planning some things. Planning what are you going to do when you get out of this situation, or how are you going to plan your day for the next few days. I'm a retired clinical psychologist, but I'm still working as a school psychologist. I took a job here when I came to town, and I am so grateful because now they've got us working at home, but we're still working. And that is so grateful to have that to do, because this week is going to be hard for me because I'm going to be kind of locked up in the house and stuff with everything that's going on. And I'm paying attention to what they say in the news media because I don't want to be a carrier of this stuff as well. And I know that you don't too. But, prayer is that number one thing to kind of keep going with as you go through these times. So reaching out to others, especially others that you haven't. And if you have, I just had a really nice conversation with somebody I hadn't seen since college. And it was a beautiful thing to do. She called me, and her and her husband are old friends, and we just talked for a while, and it was just wonderful. And so when you're in these kinds of, and I would call them traumatic times. Now, if you're like me, I got grandkids. I'm not so worried about what happens to me. I'm more concerned that I have two sons. One has bad diabetes, so if he gets it, it's almost like a death sentence. And I got 3 grandkids. And of course, if you're like me, I worry about them. But of course, God says, quit your worrying and snuggle up to Jesus. Snuggle up to God as well. By the way, if you're hearing any little noises in the background, like that one, I have 2 dogs, and I'm shocked that they've been quiet this long. And when it comes to training them, I'm not sure who's training who. They're training me or I'm training them. I think they're doing a pretty good job of training me. And one's trying to get on my lap as we speak. Scooch, sweetheart. I'll pet her. That'll keep her calmer. And so it's just a little bit to do with this as well. And also, I'd mentioned when I did the other presentation, but for those of you that haven't heard it, is to adjust your environment as well. Make sure that you feel, and all adjustment to your environment means is do things that make you feel safe. Make you feel safe. Now, I've noticed I've kept upgrading how much I start to do with, cleaning things and that kind of stuff too, especially as this thing gets closer and closer. I would bring bags of stuff in the house, not thinking that maybe 30 people handled all the stuff that was in the grocery store before I got to it. So I clean that off a little bit, those kinds of things. But whatever makes you feel safe and comfortable, do that as well. Also, your home is your safe place. And it's always been your safe place. But now especially the government, the doctors, and I've been listening to all of them, and they're on target. They're on target. The only about safe place that you got is in your home. And you probably heard the phrase, treat everybody like they might have the virus. And so, keep the distance. And now they're talking about, maybe some of you have heard this as well, but now they're talking about somebody can do it with their breath. That's why they're heavy into doing the mask, and that's why they changed their mind on those kinds of things too. And so, that's an important piece. And whatever makes you feel good right now is important, whether it's an old movie that you like to watch, that kind of thing. Or if it's like make your favorite dessert, whatever it might be, and pass that dessert around to others because it's homemade and it probably doesn't have any problems with it, and that would be a good thing too. So God bless. Keep the prayers going. You got a prayer chain, keep that going. And I wish you the best and happiness for your kids and stuff too.